All right, guys. For practice today, Coleman's out with the ankle, Ford quad rotation, Hurd back, Staley fibula, Taylor ankle, Tart toe, and Jimmy Ward will be limited again.
You read that pretty quickly, but
Tried
I did
to.
catch tart toe.
Tart toe.
Is that a turf toe type of thing? That
It's not turf toe, but it is his toe. He'll be day to day.
Is Ford a day-to-day situation?
Yes, Ford, same thing.
Regarding Ford, obviously, I guess what level of concern is there just because that knee hasn't gotten?
I mean, for him to have this setback like he did after missing some of camp, there's always a concern. But, I mean, he is day-to-day, had a chance to practice today. We're going to play it safe. We'll see here over the next 2 days, which makes me somewhat optimistic for the game. But we got to play it day by day. It's something he's dealing with. Feels better now than it did after the game on Sunday, so hopefully that'll continue.
Is this basically the same thing that he dealt with
Yes.
in Kansas City?
Yeah.
And he was able to play through it?
Yeah.
I know it's just a game on the schedule, but home opener and the fact that you guys started out so well with a 2-0 record, you expect just kind of a little bit of a special vibe in the ballpark, and how good was it?
I mean, I think I love when you give momentum to the fans and stuff. Hopefully they're excited us coming back, and it's the first game of the year. Hopefully they're excited with it is the first game and that we are 2-0, and I hope we come out there and play well because of it. I know our guys are pumped to be back. We've been on the road for a while, and this will be our first game in the stadium this year, and we plan on it being a good year in our stadium.
Kyle, you've had 9 defensive linemen active the first 2 games. Is that a product of the way you want this to happen as far as just keeping guys fresh throughout a game, or is it a result of the temperatures that you've played in?
It's a result of everything. I mean, it has to do with what schemes you're going against, sometimes temperature, just how you see the game going. I mean, we would love to dress all 53, but you really got to make those decisions based off of who's healthy and wherever you can get an advantage. So that's something that changes week to week. That's why a lot of these decisions we don't really make till Friday and Saturday.
Is the plan with Verrett to just sort of ease him back in, make sure he's in football shape before putting him in game action, or is it just like what you said, just sort of?
No, we wanted to play it slow with Brett. We knew he had a chance to really come here and compete, but he had a pretty bad injury the first week of camp, so he didn't get to do anything until week 1. So really the first 2 weeks wasn't much of an option for us. I know he was really wanting to get out there last week, but we're trying to play it smart with him. I know he'll have a better chance to get up this week. That's something that we'll discuss. It won't all just have to do with him. It'll have to do with the rest of the roster and how we plan on attacking those guys.
Why the change at long snapper?
We just, after a couple weeks, and not just the games, but some things in practice too, we just felt that we could get better. And when there was an option out there, we pulled the trigger, and hopefully we will.
Was there something Colin wasn't doing particularly well?
I mean, this isn't my area of expertise, but there are very little details on stuff and timing, and you want guys to be perfect every time. And no, he wasn't perfect. So we're just trying to see if we can get someone a little more consistent. He wasn't bad though either. We just thought we could make an upgrade.
You guys got a lot of production out of the running game with 3 backs who are undrafted. What is it about that position that allows guys who drafted low or undrafted to be able to produce in the NFL?
I mean, I know it happens a lot, probably more with running backs, but I think there's a chance it can happen with all positions. But it takes 11 guys to run the ball. And if you got the other 10 guys working very hard, not just the O-line and tight end, but the quarterback, the receivers, everyone throughout the week, and then you have the right type of guys at running back, they can make it even better. I thought we had a real good game, the 10 guys blocking, and then I thought our backs even got a lot more. I always look to how much they get that we blocked for, and then they're paid for what they get after. And all 3 of our guys broke a lot of tackles and did a great job. If you want one guy to do it all on his own, you might have to always go for a top 5 pick, and you're going to be disappointed until Barry Sanders comes around. I never feel like running the ball is just one guy. It's got to take everyone.
Kyle, you haven't been in this situation, and neither have most of the guys on the team. Do you have to temper expectations or try and make sure they don't get, look too far ahead or beyond this game?
I don't think so. I think our team is smart enough and knows the deal. There's not one person in our building, at least that I've noticed, that feels like we've arrived by any means. We won a very hard fought game that was sloppy at times the first week that easily could have gone the other way. We know our guys came out ready to go last week and everything kind of just clicked. But I mean, if you think that at all, I promise you, you're going to get humbled this week. I mean, it doesn't matter what happens, and we feel good being 2-0, but I mean, you go into the bye week 2-1, and that's all taken away. It's very important to us to go into this bye week 3-0, and you can't just wake up on Sunday and decide to do that. You better be as humble as can be, and our backs are against the wall, the way I look at it, and we got to come out just as hungry as Pittsburgh's going to be, because I know their backs are against the wall, and I know their coaching staff, know a lot of their players, and I know it's going to be an extremely hard physical game on Sunday.
When somebody of Joe's caliber goes down, do you have to account for that game planning, or no matter who comes in to replace him, it's going to be a little bit of a notch down? Do you have to account for that one?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you account for that stuff all the time, and I mean, and there's a lot of good pass rushers in this league too. Even when you have guys like Joe and guys I've had in the past, you still have to account for that stuff. So when you lose a great player like Joe, it heightens that a lot from the coaching staff, and those are things you think about on all day Tuesday and Monday. But you also can't get enamored with it too. There's a lot of other people on the field that you got to take care of and try to help too. And confident that school will come in, and by no means will he be perfect, just like Joe isn't. But the game's not too big for him, and I know he'll battle and give us a chance to win.
What do you know about him, Kyle, other than that he played like 40 consecutive games and kind of came out of the SEC?
I mean, just being around here, he doesn't talk very much. Which I've kind of liked, because I mean, he's just quiet, goes about his business, but it's not because he's not confident. I mean, I think he studies things very well. I think he's very smart. I'm just watching him out and walk through today. I mean, did the game plan very well. A lot of times guys hear it on a Wednesday in the meetings, and they go out to walk through, and it's their first time getting a start, and everyone knows it, and they kind of freak out a little bit. And he's the same as he's been every day. Just doesn't talk much, and pretty low key. And I like guys who are like that.
Well, you guys bringing in Sam Young yesterday. You just saw him a couple weeks ago.
And we have our reasons. We wanted to talk to him a little bit, see him in person, make sure nothing changed in a couple weeks. Sometimes it does. But a lot of things play into that, and we got to look at the rest of our roster as the week goes. But yeah, we know Sam's a possibility, but it didn't make sense right now.
Carl, you guys haven't had the greatest home field advantage at this, well, not since before you were here at Levi's at all, and Pittsburgh fans travel really well. Do you have any concerns about what kind of a vibe it's going to be? Or are you expecting it to be a strong 49ers crowd?
Yeah, I'm expecting to be a strong 49ers crowd. Pittsburgh always travels well wherever I've been. I mean, when I was in Atlanta and we're on our way to the Super Bowl, we still had to use the silent cadence at home, even when I think we were 11-4 at the time. So, I mean, it's not always like that. I don't think we've given our fans a lot to be excited about in the 2 years I've been here at home or the years prior. But when we have, I mean, I think our stadium's been loud. I mean, I always revert back to I think it was the Christmas Eve game versus Jacksonville. I mean, we were out of it, and I thought our fans were as loud as any stadium I've been at. I felt it last year versus Oakland. I felt it versus Seattle last year. So when we've given I think our fans come ready. And if we come ready, I think we'll be very happy about our home field advantage.
What do you expect of Mike Tomlin and without big men there in the pocket?
I mean, Mike's Mike. He's gonna be aggressive in everything he does. He's not gonna change in whatever he does. I mean, Mike's a very confident guy. There's no BS to him. He's gonna challenge his team. They didn't play well week one. They played a lot better last week. Definitely could have won that game, and they came up short. And now they're 0-2 with their backs against the wall, especially losing a great quarterback like that. But that won't faze Mike. He'll rally everyone together, and I know we're gonna play a real good team on Sunday.
Being 2-0 and there's chatter around the league about guys potentially wanting trades or guys who could be traded. Is it tough for you to deal with being 2-0 and think, oh, maybe we're just a piece away from really making a huge upgrade, or how do you look at possible additions like that could include giving away premium draft picks and paying a lot of salary?
The same way I looked at stuff when we were 0-9. I mean, I don't feel any different being 2-0. I know very easily we could be 1-1, and just a few things, we were up 14-7. We have a turnover. They could have made it 14-14 like that, and our defense ended up holding them. We got it back and really scored on 3 possessions, ending it within the second quarter and the third quarter. That kind of got out of hand. I mean, it's just a few plays away from that not being the case. So I don't get caught up in that at all. It's pretty easy. We listen to everything. We're always going to entertain everything, but our record right now doesn't change anything.
You and Tomlin go back pretty far, obviously, to the Tampa days. What kind of influence has he been on you as you've gone through the coaching ranks?
I mean, I like to say all those guys at Tampa was probably some of the biggest influences I had. You know, I grew up in football a lot, so I was always paying attention to things for a while, just trying to play, and then trying to just being around it all the time. But it went more to offense. And my 2 years in Tampa were great. You know, the first year working with Gruden and just trying to catch up with all the work he had me do. But by the second year, understanding what I was doing and being able to get the stuff done early, I spent all my time with the defense. And the guys I hung with the most were usually Mike and Raheem. So they would bring me in a lot of the DB stuff and really taught me the foundation of defense. And then all the guys there, so I don't want to leave anyone out, but with Marinelli and Joe Barry and Joe Woods, who's here now, and Monty Kiffin. I mean, it was an unbelievable staff. And the foundation of football that I learned from those guys is, to me, is what I based everything on what I believe in offensively and how to attack defenses.
Were they super close with Mike?
Yeah. I mean, none of us are big phone guys, so we're not keeping up that way. But anytime now that I'm a head coach, I get to see him at the owners' meetings, but we always see each other in Indy and stuff like that.
You said you're expecting a hard-fought physical game. Does Pittsburgh have a certain identity regardless of who their quarterback is or who their skill guys are?
Yes. I mean, they've all been there for a long time. I know there's a little turnover, but I mean, defense coordinator's been there forever. Mike's been there forever now. They have some different players on defense and offense, but it's the same message, it's the same mentality. I mean, they're hitters. They're not going to just sit back and let you scheme them up. They're going to try to get after you, and they can tackle and they can hit, and they can do it on both sides of the ball.
Since school is kind of an unknown, is this kind of a in effect a one-game tryout for him to see if he can be the answer until Staley gets back?
I mean, it would be if there was like 8 people behind him, then you would just keep doing it. So, I mean, this is what you deal with in the NFL, and we wouldn't have kept School on a roster if we didn't think he was an NFL player. You always want to give those guys more time, and because the more time they have, the better they get. But that time ran out, so he's going to go this week, and I know he's going to have some ups and downs, but I believe he's made of the right stuff. And when you're made of the right stuff, whether you have a positive or negative experience, you can always get better from it.
Well, Jimmy said you kind of got into a role when you were calling plays on Sunday. Is part of that ability just because you have more guys who understand your offense, and it was just also getting you?
I mean, I still think we're working on that, especially with the younger guys and stuff. But I mean, I just think it was because all 11 guys in every phase were playing very well. And when you have the run game going, it's a lot easier to have the pass game going, and vice versa. So to be able to hit on a couple screens, to hit on a couple play actions, a couple bootlegs, and then to run the ball very well. If you're hitting in all those areas and you haven't even gotten a drop back, it puts a lot of pressure on the defense. So it was a lot more fun to call plays and stuff like that when it's like that, and you get to avoid third down.